Hey everybody, welcome back. Easiest run of all time on the last run. D100. We never had a terrible roll. We came close a couple times. Dude, we must have had Eden's Blessing on last run. Look at this. P6EY, N4E9. Brother Bobby, Succubus. Necronomicon, 2 HP. Good damage, great rate of fire, great speed actually. Good speed. Let's make him work for it a little bit. But yeah, like average damage with an above average rate of fire. A familiar that's not going to help out too much, but Succubus doing great work. 2 HP gives us some resiliency. And combine that, excuse me, sir, with the Necronomicon, and we got some pretty good, like, killing power right now. Should be in a good spot on today's run. Should be. You never know. We could be in a great spot. We could be in a spot that looks good but gets bad at some point. There's many different ways that this could go. I'm going to spare you the minutia of going down each and every single one of them. You know, well, he could have a good run that gets bad and then wins in the end regardless, you know. Sure, there's infinity ways out here. Let's go. At the present moment, though, we got Jackie S to worry about. And Jackie S is my way of saying Jack Poop. I always get this trinket messed up. Is this the one? This is stop. It means we don't get any spacebar items. We probably do not want that. Necronomicon is good, but we'd like to get more spacebar items, if only so we can get Bookworm. And dude, Necronomicon, for me to just out of nowhere be like, Necronomicon is good. That's a huge growth in my relationship with Necronomicon, because previously this was kind of like the item I yelled at, and I was like, this item is trash, and I can't believe it's a 6-room charge. It is still pretty bad. Like, it's not amazing, but it's very useful in the early game, especially if you don't want to do a big room. And like, these first couple of floors have the worst big rooms in terms of, you know, your level of skill, well, your level of strength, I should say, versus the rooms that they throw at you. You know, a bunch of enemies that are total jerks, many of which are going to be champions, and then they just expect you to deal with them one at a time. I say no to that, sir. I say no. We're going to use bombs. Parasitoid Tears is good enough. Common Cold might honestly have been good enough, but Parasitoid Tears is a little bit on the better side. Scales with Hive Mind. I don't think it gives us Beelzebub Transformation. Like, that's a perfect room to use this on. The only more perfect room would be a room that basically guarantees us a battery charge. Yeah, I think that was fairly doubtlessly the right choice there. Succubus is doing great work. I would love to just get ridiculous damage from this deal with the devil and be in an unstoppable position. I'm a little nervous, actually, that we're going to get hit here. Nervous is not the right word. I'm an adult. I'm mildly, on an intellectual but not emotional level, concerned about the idea that we could take damage here and ruin our deal with the devil chance. Let's go. Instead, we got a rate of fire increase. 2 very valuable hearts, and then follow it up with 5 red chests. It could be good. It could be good. It could be great. It's already great, actually. 2 guppy items. Oh, we didn't quite get the 3rd, but obviously we're going to go dead cat here. We also got Feels Like I'm Walking on Sunshine. I mean, Guppy's Head is better. Let's take Guppy's Head. Basically, you're smart people. I would be lying to you at this point if I was like, oh, we're going to take Necronomicon because I think it could be better in this unique circumstance. Obviously, I would be, like, deliberately nerfing myself. Guppy's Head is the item to take here. So we're 2/3 of the way to Guppy. This is like, you know, unstoppable force versus a movable object. We haven't gotten the Guppy transformation recently, but we've got such good chances to get it now. Deal with the devil precedent plus, well, at least a little bit of Spirit Heart action protecting us. Probably won't happen next floor, but could happen next floor. This is an important point. I think we can get all the special stuff on this floor if this is a secret room, which it is. So we go in here. Obviously, we're going to do Forget Me Now. We're going to lose, take this. Oh, I really needed that to be 2 of spades. But use 2 of clubs anyway. Save yourself the black heart and come in here. We get a key. Okay. Use a bomb to grab the key. Leave. Walk into the boss trap room. Open the golden chest. And then forget me now. Ooh, okay, interesting. So now we have no spacebar item. I would say no spacebar item is worse than Guppy's head. I don't know if that's being a little bit controversial, though. But we're going to get another, basically one extra deal with the devil chance over the course of the entire run. Don't make me laugh! You're making me laugh a ha-ha-ha with your bad arcades. And you are making me want to do a little bit of a Lady Gaga parody. Oh, whoa, 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 screwed by a bad arcade. The lyrics were sort of, you know, they're you understand what song I'm referencing, which is good because the pitch was a little off. Red hearts, not what we're interested in right now. In fact, we're interested in consumables above all else. It is unfathomable, almost, that this run would be a loss, though. Like, we've got amazing stats. I was gonna say great stats, and then I said no. We can bust out the A word. This is an A+ start here. To be on the second floor with the kind of, you know, the caliber of items that we've got so far is a little ridiculous. Not to mention, there's a semi-decent chance that we could just become Guppy right here. I'd say there's like a 10% chance we could become Guppy. Probably it's a little bit lower than that. Because it's a 1/3 chance to get a deal with the devil, and then what are the odds that it's got items, and then that it has a Guppy item amongst them. So is it a third over a third? Which would be like roughly 9%. It's probably worse odds than that, but we got many chances to make it happen. Blank rune. Save this for a possible Perthrow. I think blank rune is Perthrow, unless you're on a daily in which you want it to be AWAS. And by is, I mean like we're saving it for the chance to make that happen. A mild tears upgrade. You're not wrong if you're saying, like, why don't you go back and sleep in the bed, by the way. Well, you're not wrong, but I also don't think you're necessarily particularly right. Not to be rude to you. I mean, you're your own sovereign adult, you know? You can tell me to F off if you want to. But it's not going to give us anything to sleep in the bed unless we manage to give up our red heart somehow, in which case it'll give us 3 spirit hearts and would basically justify getting a deal with the devil by itself, but it doesn't seem likely that that's going to happen. We also have, like, no interest whatsoever in our shop, at least with our current level of finances, but it wasn't a bad idea to come down here, I think. I mean, we're going to come out of this with a little bit more HP. We got all of our consumables back. We got an interesting but altogether mostly useless spacebar item, but at least it's something. You know, we're back in the saddle again in that department. It could be a secret room, but I'm a little skeptical. It was a secret room. And that was a waste of my time. I don't have, like, free internet. My bandwidth's limited. That's not really true. We're on an unlimited plan, I think. Or at least I've never noticed myself being throttled, which is nice, you know? I don't really know where to go from that. Except that sometimes people go, you know, oh, Canadian internet, you got data plans, right? I don't know. And I think that's the ideal circumstance. I mean, I should know, because it's directly related to my job, but I'm kind of, like, ignorant of it until it causes me problems, you know? It's like the highway on the way to my office just works totally fine, so I don't know the intricacies of, you know, the grade of concrete that was used to make it. I don't know why I felt the compulsion to use it feels like I'm walking on Sunshine Pill. It seems like kind of a bad play, but it's alright. Play this once. That's all we can really afford to do. I would like to make Boss Rush happen. We're strong enough to make it. We haven't done it that much recently, although probably, like, roughly in keeping with average. We haven't done it enough to be like, I don't want to do Boss Rush ever again. Yeah, okay, 15 cents. Right, okay, you just got rid of... We got Steam sale anyway, so I'm happy, but I'm an idiot. Because we could have just gotten Trinket Smelter, and Trinket Smelter would have been way more fun than just rolling Magic Fingers, which... The only time I feel happy rolling Magic Fingers is when I have, like, literally 99 cents and a bunch of damage, so... Check this. We gotta look. Double paralysis pill. You know, it's not that much worse than just getting one paralysis pill, if you want to get technical. And I do want to get technical, baby. It's always my introduction to dirty talk. Where are local static variables stored? In the local static data area? That's correct. Please. I don't want... Are you a wizard right now? We got homing tiers, so don't sweat it that much. You're still crushing it here. We actually don't really need anything on this run. At least urgently. Usually at this point in the run, you need something. But right now, all of our stats are good. Some of our well, our HP could use some work, I suppose. But some of our stats are great. Like, our rate of fire is genuinely awesome right now. And our damage might not be 10 out of 10. In fact, it's about 3.5 out of infinity. However, we're firing roughly twice as often as we would at this point on the run. On an average run, at least. And our shots are homing, so we get more efficiency out of them as well. So we can coast on this level of damage for a little bit longer. Even if I would prefer not to. Dark Bomb basically is just, at this point, what can I complain about? We've given us amazing offensive items, and now one of the best defensive items in the game. It almost guarantees us a win, provided we find, like, any red hearts. Which, hilariously, we didn't on this floor, but... We already... I actually said incorrectly on the last floor we have Deal with the Devil Precedent. We don't. We have Deal with the Devil Chance. Jesus Juice I always get confused with. Is that a reference to Michael Jackson? Or is it a reference to communion? Communion wine. I've got to be honest, you know, I grew up in a family that is not religious, but sort of like my grandparents were non-practicing, but like sort of really, they were like, well, you gotta get baptized. But we don't really go to church. So I have been baptized, but I've never been confirmed, which is the step that allows you to take communion. I've also, like, straight up only been in church outside of a wedding or a funeral or, like, a concert or a pancake breakfast. Like, maybe 3 times. I think I've only been present at, like, a communion ceremony once. So I'm a little ignorant of what goes on there. That's not, like, you know, I'm not bringing this into, like, a religious kind of conversation that we're having here. I'm giving you some insight into... Thank you, Dark Bomb. I'm giving you some insight into, you know, when I talk about Christianity or Catholicism, I basically know nothing about it. But I never got confirmed, which I think means I am doomed. It's like I got my religious learning permit, but then I just let it expire. I was like, I'll get my license next year. And just never went through with it. I've been present at like 5 or 6 baptisms. And you could not make... And again, this is so meant to be inoffensive that if you're offended by it, I'm almost mad at you. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, I made an off-color joke. You got offended? You know, sorry, Snowflake. That's very much not my brand. However, if you get offended by this, I'm sorry, but mostly I'm sorry for what you've chosen to take offense to here, because this is going to be ridiculous. I don't know if there is a more self-serving ceremony than a baptism of, like, a young child. It's like, all these adults get together, they take their Saturday, you're like, oh, what are you going to do this Saturday? I was thinking I would, you know, take one of the 2 days per week that I get off from a job I don't really like and, go watch an infant get some water rubbed on his forehead because it's the 8th son of an estranged, you know, older brother of mine. Yo, life is good. So we get doubled everything here. And then we get to take a second something as well. Eden soul, without a rap. It was a Yera, but that wouldn't have done anything anyway. Like butterflies going, going. I mean, the soul is fine for a doubling, but dude, why not take Censor and get 2 Censors? The soul, we'd basically just be expecting extra spirit hearts. And that's not to say, by the way, that the baptism ceremony... First off, I just don't like words that end in ism. As an adult, it makes me uncomfortable, but... because of jism. But it's like, I went and saw my 3-year-old... This is like 15 years ago. My 3-year-old cousin get baptized. My uncle lives in Nova Scotia, and I lived in Ontario. So it was like a 3-day drive or something like that for them to get down here. And I've seen them... I like my uncle and his family. I think we're kindred spirits, but we don't see each other very often, like once every 6 or 7 years. I took a Saturday at like 10 a.m. to watch my 3-year-old cousin get baptized. The cousin's got no idea what's going on. You know, hey, do you want to burn forever in hellfire? No? Alright, well, we're going to do this ceremony then. I'm not mad that it gets done, you know, to children, because I think, you know, in the end, it's just, you know, a ceremony that, you know, for me is harmless, and for them, if they feel like that's important, so be it, right? It's more like, you should be able to say no to a baptism, I think. You know, I've never been to a bar mitzvah, but I kind of think that a bar mitzvah is like a maturation into adulthood for a young man, you know? They've got responsibilities, they prepared for the event. It's got a lot of symbolism and some autonomy over it as well. Oh, that's Guppy. We're in the clear. But, like, as a 14-year-old, being like, I just want to play NFL quarterback club, but I gotta watch my cousin get some water rubbed on his head with 30 other strangers who have never met my cousin, but, you know, they taught freaking soccer to my uncle when he was 8 years old, and now they can't say no to being here. Again, I'm not saying it's a stupid ceremony. I'm just saying it's stupid that other people are expected to attend. If you want to attend, that's fine. It's not like every weekend I'm like, oh, another baptism invitation. It hurts being so popular for some reason. No, it's just... There's a few things like that. Like, I would much rather help my friend move than go to their child's baptism. But I'd much rather go to their baptism than their bris. No question about that. At least when you help a friend move... by the way, in order for you to fully appreciate what I said, that I'd rather help a friend move than go to their child's baptism, I hate moving. I do not like it one bit. No, I mean, nobody does, but I moved so much as well. I moved a few times as a child, which I know if you're in like a, you know, military family or for whatever reason you just moved a lot. It's, you know, oh, ha, ha, you're like a little baby, right? But at the same time, you know, when you're an adult and you move, I feel like it's not fair, because if you're doing like some flip this house sort of stuff, you might have made like a tidy sum. You're like, I hate moving. Your kid is like, I hate moving. And then you're like, yeah, me too. But we are making, you know, $100,000 by selling this house and then buying a different one. So, you know, put up or shut up, kid. You know, somebody's got to put dinner on the table. But as a kid, moving is always like a lose-lose, right? Like, you're going to have to make new friends if you're moving to a new area, if you're not going to the same school. We have Steam sale, so we should... And Golden Bomb, so we should really go for this. But, as an adult, you've got a little bit more leverage. But at least when you help a friend move, it's productive. Like, you're helping them do something that they need your help with, especially if you own a truck. Which I do not, because I don't want to get asked to help people move all the time. I like my weekends. I gotta stream on those weekends, man. I'm not saying a baptism is inherently unproductive, you know, from a cosmic sense, if that's what you believe. I'm just saying, you know, for me, I'm like, dude, can we just like get together and I'll mow your lawn to get out of this baptism thing? This is, by the way, a completely manufactured scenario. I don't have any friends who have ever invited me to their child's baptism. I don't have any friends. Boom, 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 boom. So, I mean, we're going to use Eden's Soul. Right, Eden's Soul plus Chaos means we probably should not have waited to use it in this room. We do have 10 lives, so we could use Plan C. But I'm not going to because I resent it. Dude, the Telepil's curse has gotten us. There's no conspiracy that's like, I don't want to fight Mega Satan. I like fighting Mega Satan, especially when our run is strong. As it is right now. Anyway, what a bizarre tirade to be rambling about this, you know, baptism nonsense forever. It's irrelevant. The point is, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but your beliefs start to be called into question when you ask me to take time off of my valuable Saturday to watch a religious ceremony, okay? A wedding, a little different. It's a, you know, symbolic union of two people. But if you're like, hey, come watch my child be like, take the first step in and not go into hell. I'm like, you know what? I wish you the best. I got a nice long date with my own religion. It's called sleeping inism. But by all means, I'm a devout follower of sleeping inism. I practice it as often as possible, multiple times per week for certain. And I'm very lucky to be able to do so. And you know what? I think it's enriched my life in a lot of ways. Let's move downwards here. Oh, they're gonna let me. Thank you. Dude, I could use a speed upgrade. I'm just throwing this out here. Could use a speed upgrade. I'm just throwing this out here. 0.8 speed with Taurus. It's kind of... I mean, we're getting faster eventually, but... sort of slowly, unfortunately. What is this? Infested. So we're definitely... we can already fly. It's not bad. I should point that out. Like, Fate is not bad here. It's just not any good. The only thing it can do is give us more HP, and at this point I would say that that's a dubious pickup. We might not want it. We might want it, but we might not want it, you know? So if we don't know which way the wind is gonna blow on that one, I say we just stay away from it. You might think that I'm very selfish with my time. It's, I mean, sort of the case, to be honest with you. And like, this is pulling back the veil. I am a little selfish with my time because I like to record videos, and also that's like my responsibility. Not just everyone is always like, you know, oh, you should, you know, hey, it's 2 a.m. on a Saturday and you're playing Battlegrounds. Why don't you just stream it? This is the kind of economy we're in here, like in terms of our time at least, where it's like, well, if you're playing something, you might as well be live. But I'm not ungenerous when the cause is right. Like last year, and I recognize the irony in taking cherry picking a situation from literally a year ago, but last year for, I can't remember, it was like either Mother's Day or like one of Kate's parents' birthdays. We took them out to dinner, and her dad was like, hey, I got this like charity walkathon thing going on tomorrow at 9 a.m. It was a Saturday. Like, do you guys want to do it? And of course, like, we're like, no. Like, mentally, like, are you... Of course not. Are you crazy? We don't want to take our Saturday to do a charity walkathon we just found out about, you know, 2 minutes ago. But I said, you know what? Like, it'll be a good time to... We can bond, and, you know, I can tell it's important to you, so we'll do it. And we went out at like 9 a.m., not super early, but early on a Saturday, in the hot summer sun, and we walked, did a charity walk for polio, and it was a good time. And by a good time, I mean it was for a good cause. So that, I don't have a problem, you know, that I can easily justify as quality time with my wife and her family, brings us a little closer together, you know, raises money for charity. If I wanted to be very extremely Northernlion-y, I could point out that I made a donation to the charitable organization that was doing the event, and my thank you for that was getting non-stop calls, like, every morning at 9 a.m., trying to solicit some more personal information. So it's like, no, you don't understand. I know that and this is going to sound insulting, but the average age in this organization is like at least 50 years old. I understand you don't get that many millennials necessarily. We don't like to talk on the phone. The money has changed hands. Do with it what you want. Just never call me again. Or I'll, crowdsource someone to bust your kneecaps. Obviously that's not true, but I don't like talking on the phone, okay? I saw a tweet the other day, the height of comedy, a tweet, where the basic gist of it, and I'm going to not source it because I forgot who made it. And people always have, like, fake Twitter names, like, the Thought Police, but it's instead of thought, it's like, that hoe over there. But anyway, the point is, I can't have Skype message right now. It said, like, the stages of friendship is like stage 4, we hang out. Stage 3, we can travel together. Stage 2, like, I invite you to my wedding. And stage 1, I'll talk to you on the telephone. I think actually stage 2 was like, I would literally give my life for you. And stage 1 is, I will talk to you on the telephone. It's pretty much, I can relate to that, is what I'll say. The telephone it's an anxiety-inducing piece of equipment, which is why again, this is like, I think this is not like, oh, you're so charitable. There are so many streamers that are so charitable and have raised, like, so much money for St. Jude and other various organizations that I'm not trying to say, like, oh, I'm so charitable, But maybe, like, once or twice a year, there's, like, a fundraising thing that someone in my family or extended family does, and I'm like, yeah, I'll contribute to that. That's, when I was a child, the extended family network contributed to my stupid, yeah, I'm selling chocolate bars. How many chocolate bars would you like to buy, reasonable adult? 10 chocolate bars. That's a normal adult amount of chocolate bars to purchase at once. Of course. So, I give back now when I'm in a position to do so. And this year, I gave to an organization, no correspondence whatsoever. Sign me up for your non-existent newsletter. You guys get me. There is actually, like, I understand it's hard as a charity. You gotta hustle. These people get me. I'm going to avoid naming them because I don't know if I should have taken that HP. As soon as you name them, you're going to be, oh, well, here's a report from 1975 that says, the CEO pays himself $10 trillion a year. And I'll be like, come on. Let me live in my ignorance is bliss sort of area right now where I think that I've done a good thing for the world. Like, I'm so much more likely to contribute to that organization in the future as a result of the fact that I think that organization gets millennials. No phone. I got an email that said thank you, and I was like, that's all I wanted was to be appreciated. Christopher. And now, like, I'm good to go. At least I know, if the whole YouTube Twitch thing goes up at some point, I could get a job as, like, millennial liaison. Because you might think, I'm mocking millennials. I'm not. I'm firmly in, like, the middle of the millennial generation. I'm actually, like, I might be peak millennial. I willfully live in a city that has a destroyed housing market and go, hey, how about that housing market? Oh, way to go, baby boomers. Oh, Ryan, your cold brew's ready. Oh, thank you, thank you. You guys really should be paid more here. I'm all for a $15 minimum wage, but at the same time, the coffee's already so expensive. Like, I'm peak millennial, I get it. So, maybe you're watching this, maybe you're savvy or your son or daughter has turned you on to these videos. If you represent, like, a Fortune 500 company, maybe you make, like, laundry detergent, and you're like, millennials aren't buying our products anymore. Hire me. I will consult for you on some ads. You got to rework your brand. Nihilism is so in. Here's your new ad for laundry detergent. Laundry detergent, because we're all gonna die someday anyway. The end. That's it. End scene. But you gotta play it up with, like, a little bit of irony in it as well. Like, not irony, sorry, but self-awareness. It's not like, laundry detergent, we're all gonna die someday anyway. Like, it's gotta be upbeat, like, buy fabric softener, because one day we'll be food for worms. And then, that's the Intel jingle, I think. It'll work, I'm telling you. Millennial liaison. Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know? One day they'll invent robot bodies regardless, so it doesn't matter what you put into your system right now. The Intel... I mean, that one's got it's got to have some work done, let's be honest. But the Intel jingle is a big part of this. I mean, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You think like beef, it's what's for dinner? People invented that overnight? Nah, son, that was workshopped. There's a couple of rules for millennial life. Don't approach a millennial on the telephone. You can text the millennial and say, "Can I call you?" And then they probably will not respond. And then like 6 hours later, they'll be like, "Sorry, I was busy. Can I call you tomorrow?" And then you'll say yes. And then you'll set up a time. And then 10 minutes after that time, they will call you. That's the first step of contacting a millennial. I say this as someone who does that exact same thing. It's coming from a place of love, I promise you that. I'm trying to think of the other rules. Never ask them to see a Tim Burton film. That's probably like rule number like 600, but it's on there. Oh, Dad, I don't want to see a Tim Burton film. I mean, if he made another Ed Wood, sure, but I don't want to see Johnny Depp. I don't know why I'm doing this voice. I'm actually doing a parody of myself, and I've given myself this voice. I don't understand. Never talk about using homes as an investment, because you should be aware of the fact that the speculators market is making it impossible for anybody in our demographic to own property, unless, of course, they have abstained from eating avocado toast for their whole lives, in which case the down payment basically makes itself. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. These are the rules for interacting with millennials. That might be a little Vancouver specific. I don't know. Wow, first he railed on religion and now on millennials and baby boomers. Is there anything he won't touch? That's right, I'm saying it. No sacred cows. Speaking of which, mozzarella's not that good of a cheese. I'm not against it, but give me a cheddar over a mozzarella any day of the week outside of a pizza context. Am I right or am I right? You're all thinking it. I'm just the only one with the cojones to say it. It's actually like my least favorite genre of comedy. Awful opinion. You're all thinking it. Most of the time, not really, but there are comedians who are very good at that. And it's a tough line to hit, so I respect it, but there's also comedians who are very bad at it. You just give me... Yeah, I was going to say, you don't give me an advantage there. You don't give me a guaranteed item, is basically what I should have said there. Okay. You never give me an item. You only give me a golden HP. And as I fight the Mega Satan nightly, my streak grows. You actually gave me Guppy. Previously, it's been rare occasion. And in the middle of the gameplay motion, boo. Anyway, easy win, 30 minutes. Mega Satan. We've had a lot of runs like this recently where we've been, like, markedly too slow to make boss rush. And then, like, finish the whole run within 30 minutes. My least favorite Jesse Eisenberg film. Within 30 minutes. That's what it was localized as here. Not true. People have probably forgotten about the existence of 30 minutes or less. I once, when I left Korea, I lived in a city called Daegu, which is large, but not one of the two largest. So people go, oh, what's it like living in a small town of 3 million people? But anyway, I had a 6 a.m. flight from Daegu to Seoul. Ooh, they actually gave me an entrance here, okay. I had a 6 a.m. flight from Daegu to Seoul, which is like 40 minutes. And then I had like a midnight flight or something like that from Seoul to Vancouver, and then from Vancouver back to Toronto. But so I had a 14-hour or something layover at Incheon International Airport. Great airport to have a layover at, but 14 hours is a little ridiculous. Especially as like a 22-year-old who was like, this is my 4th time in an airport, you know? I didn't really know. If I knew now, or if I knew then what I know now, that could have been a much better layover. You know, for like $40 you can just buy lounge access for most airliners. Let's see what we get here. So literally for the cost of like $3 an hour, I could have had unlimited food and drink, including alcoholic beverages. Instead, I sat on a chair and I watched 30 minutes or less like 4 times because it was one of the only movies I had on my laptop. I didn't even like it the first time. It was like, okay, only 3 more times to go. It's a little airport hack for you. There's probably no topic more boring than air travel, but that doesn't stop us. Oh, yes, I was flying Emirates. Oh, on the 787. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Oh, yeah, I love the 787 with the dynamically tinted windows. I love it. Oh, the cabin pressure makes you feel so much better when you arrive. You know. Everyone's, But, I mean, it's because planes are cool. Like, I feel the way about planes that I imagine normal children felt about dinosaurs. Like, I never really got dinosaurs when I was a kid. People were like, I really like dinosaurs. And I was like, it's just an animal, you idiot. You moron. You absolute maroon. It's just a big animal. But now I get it, because you're like, oh, why do you like airplanes? Because it's a miracle that they exist. And we treat it as if it's just an everyday occurrence that we should take for granted. Oh, so I flew across the entire planet the other day. Oh, but were you on a good airline or a bad airline? Did they offer you the quiche Lorraine? That's gonna hurt. We might tap out here on the delirium fight. I'm like 50-50. When we get a sustained delirium like this, easiest money of all time. I thought I heard a foot coming there. But when we have other bosses that can telefrag us, it becomes a little bit more of a problem. I now think we will probably succeed. I know, what a dynamic experience. It changes on the drop of a hat. I will say, though, the 787 is pretty dope ever since they fixed that bug that caused them to catch fire mid-air. That was a bummer. We did it, and actually did it fairly easily as well. Not the bug, I mean, let's be honest, I don't have the know-how in the elbow grease. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button, helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I'm gonna stretch here. Yeah. And I'll see you next time.